What's going on, my friends? I just got done with my breath work and I have something I want to share with you. It's this concept that I like to call when life is kicking your ass, what do you do? Now, there's kind of, different schools of thought and there's different ways to take it. I like to look at the matrix of, life is happening to me, life is happening by me, and life is happening through me. I really like those different ways of looking at it. And when life is kicking your ass, the first thing you can do is you can say, okay, I'm a victim. I don't have any control. I don't have any power. I don't have any authority over the situation. And I'm basically this helpless infant. And life is happening to me. I know if you guys have ever listened to Tony Robbins, he says, is life happening to you or for you? Right? And that kind of leads me to the next piece, which is if you decide to step out of the victim consciousness and step out of, I'm powerless, I can't control, I can't do anything, then the next step that people usually take is life is happening by me, right? And this is usually the step where people start to push against life. They start to say, okay, I'm no longer going to be a victim. I'm going to figure out how to fix it. I have power. I have control. I can do something about it. This is where a lot of the self-help world comes in, right? It's like, I'm going to fix my mindset. I'm going to change my mindset. I'm going to heal myself. I'm going to create routines. I'm going to create structures. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get it done. This is like, I'm going to drink that coffee. I'm going to push through. I'm going to fight. And this is like the fighter spirit that lives within us, right? That says, I am not going to be a victim anymore. This is the pain that I've experienced. I've experienced enough pain to change my circumstances and to start taking action. And then what happens when life still kicks your ass? There's a third thing to do. And I like to step in between and do a mix of both the second phase, which is life is happening by me, where it's like I'm going to go out there and I'm going to grind and I'm going to fix it and I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to work on it. And the third thing is life is happening through me. What does that mean? That means, can you sit with the pain of life? Can you sit with the sadness? Can you sit with the fear? Can you sit with the anger? Can you sit with the guilt? Can you sit with the shame? Can you sit with what is right now and take your doing self out of the way? And can you actually allow life, God, source, energy, whatever you want to call it, to come through you and clear and cleanse the problem at the level that the problem actually exists, the root cause of the level, right? Because, and there's pros and cons to both of these, right? If you're trying to do and make it happen, sometimes you can be pushing up against a wall when if you took a step back, allowed life to move through you, life will guide you, right? That's when we can hear our inner guidance. Instead of, I'm going to do it no matter what, when life is happening through you, you start to ask, what does life want me to see? What does life want me to know? What lesson is here for me? How can I learn? How can I be supported by life? How can I actually take a step back from the addictive and neurotic doing and just allow whatever needs to move through me, whether it's sadness and anger, screams, yells, anger, frustration, hatred, whatever needs to move through you in that moment, can you give yourself time away from the doing so that you can step into being? And the way I like to think about this is I want you to imagine that if you were submerged underwater, what's the first thing you'd want to do? You'd want to go up to the top, I can't breathe, and you start struggling, and you start struggling, you start struggling. But what you're really doing is you're pushing yourself down by struggling. And the more you struggle, the more you get pushed down. The more you struggle, the more you get pushed down. And what happens is when you let go, right, it's kind of like you're pushing a beach ball below the surface. And it creates a lot of pressure. It creates a lot of tension. And there's a lot of beauty and there's a lot of growth in pressure and tension. But what happens if you push a beach ball or a cork down under the surface of the water and you let go of it? You let go of the struggle. You let go of the doing. If you let go of it, it'll naturally rise up to the surface. And that's what happens when we allow life to move through us. We sit down, we take some breaths, we calm our mind, and we allow life to happen, right? You guys, you don't have to make the tree grow, right? You don't have to make the birds sing. You don't have to do any of that. All of that stuff just happens. And if you sit and feel and just allow for a little bit, what you're going to find is that your intuition begins to come online. And when your intuition comes online, then instead of pushing against the wall or the door that's locked, what happens is life says, if you just take a few steps to the left and go in this direction, there's an open door already waiting for you, and I've just been waiting for you to listen, because you can't get to the next level until you stop and listen. And the beautiful thing is once you hear that call, once you know, okay, this is the direction that I'm going, or this is the very next step, then you can start to activate the life is happening by me. Then you can start to push, then you can start to move, and you can start to exert force, and you can start to penetrate, because you are listening to life and where it wants you to penetrate, right? If you're spreading yourself thin and you're spreading yourself all across a bunch of different things, and you're doing this to life trying to penetrate it, it's hard. You can't even create and generate enough force to push through. But if you fine tune and you get really sharp and really pointed, and you listen to the call that life is trying to share with you, and then you put your force through here, now, because it's focused on that single point, because you're listening to your inner guidance and you can push through that veil, that's when things really begin to shift. Sending lots of love.